New development in the stabbing of a Frisco ISD student at a high school track meet.
And that update is Karmelo's defense team is going after all the names of all the kids involved in this case. There will be intimidation, there will be problems, there will be issues for all these people who are going to speak on behalf of Austin. At least that's what a lot of people are saying. So is there more to this, or is there a valid concern? Well, all that being said, everything's alleged. Welcome to The Point. Let's get to it.
The Frisco Independent School District has now notified families that their students' personal information is being handed over to the court because they may have witnessed what happened back in April.
Yeah, investigative reporter Brian Yu is joining us live now. Brian, you and the I-team have been talking with legal experts. So what does all of this mean for the families?
Yeah, Ken. So Frisco ISD received a court order, a subpoena, demanding a list of the students that were at that April 2nd track meet where the shooting occurred. Now, typically, schools cannot release this type of information because of privacy laws, but because this is a criminal investigation, the school district is required to comply. This is the email Frisco ISD sent families at Memorial High School, where Austin Metcalf was a student, letting them know their child's name and contact information will be shared with the court. Legal experts say it's standard in cases like this for both the prosecution and defense to reach out to potential witnesses. In this case, those witnesses could be students who were near the tent where the stabbing took place. Attorney Aubrey Noonan, who is not involved in the case, says parents do have the right to challenge the subpoena, but they need to act fast. They can file a legal motion asking a judge to block the release. Proof of that request must be given to the school district by Tuesday.
If I were a parent and I was facing this issue, I don't know that I would necessarily want my child involved, so I would be concerned about that. But I don't know that I would actually try to fight a subpoena or ask for a protective order.
Before she finishes, let's just say this, that one of the parents, according to Sarah Fields, has spoke out, and this is what they said on Sarah Fields' X account. The school is required to make a reasonable effort to notify parents if the student is a minor before complying with the subpoena. I spoke with several parents in Frisco ISD regarding this. One parent stated, given the heat that surrounds this case, not to be overdramatic, but every student that was there could be exposed to every nut that would have them swatted or followed or otherwise intimidated. The defendant, of course, has a right to his defense, but I don't need someone in Wisconsin calling the SWAT team because my son might be a witness. We didn't ask for this. We want to keep our lives private and have our kids be able to attend school without any more anxiety than high school life itself presents. The parent continued, I wish I would have gotten earlier notice. Now, I'm always as upfront and honest as I can be with my takes or how I'm seeing this situation, and I still continue to view Karmelo being more guilty than innocent. At least with the information that is available right now. I'm still not 100% on board with this whole first degree charge. I think a lesser charge is more appropriate, but once again, we don't know all the evidence and we don't know all the details. But there are reports running around right now where individuals are saying everybody's kid's going to be doxxed, they're going to be harassed, this is a huge issue and this is a problem. And as far as this being possible or impossible, let's just look at the Idaho 4 situation. The individuals involved in that story were harassed up one side and down the other. I mean, even very recently, the Gonzalez family received a threatening message during the sentencing. So there is no limit to the extent of nonsense that people will bring when they're following these stories and they have strong feelings about these stories. So it's not 100% impossible, but also Karmelo does have the right to a defense. Individuals who did witness this attack and individuals who have knowledge of the events leading up to this attack and after should be subpoenaed and they should be called to testify. That is the only way we're going to get justice in this situation. The state has to prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt. And it's not fair in a trial to have witnesses intimidated either, so we don't need any of that nonsense. Now, the actions of individuals outside of this story who are injecting themselves into this situation are the cause for concern. People being swatted, people being harassed, and people being doxxed. It has no place in our judicial system. And based on how I'm seeing everything right now, it's only one side of this story being harassed and bothered. But there's more to this quick article. Listen to this.
When I do think inevitably these names will be released.
The trial for Karmelo Anthony, charged in Austin, is scheduled for June 2026. Anthony, who was 17 at the time, is facing a first-degree charge. If convicted, he could get anywhere from 5 years to life in prison. So it's important to note that the student information is not being released to the public. It is being released to the attorneys on both sides of this case. Also, because minors are involved, typically court records will redact any personal information.
Now, when they're talking about redacted, are they talking about redacted like the Idaho 4, or are they talking about redacted like the old school Kennedy files? Once again, circle back to a very recent case that was highly popular on social media. When court officials redacted names or claimed to redact names, they left initials, and people were able to figure out who these guys were. People were able to figure out who the witnesses were, who were the individuals involved in that story, just based off the initials. I think in this story, for parents to have concern about the well-being of their child, it's valid. The court will have to do extra layers in terms of redacting and keeping these names sealed. I'm not for things being sealed. I've never advocated for anything being sealed, but in this particular situation, if those names get out or those initials get out, those kids are going to be bothered up one side and down the other. That's just my take, and that's just how I'm seeing it. And for the mainstream press in this story to talk about this so nonchalantly as if there is nothing wrong, everything's okay, this is just standard procedure, is grossly incorrect and negligent in my own unprofessional opinion. Sure, this might be standard policy, this might be a normal procedure, and this might be done day in, day out in court cases all across America, but not in this story. Not in a story that is hypercharged online and people are taking actions against the individuals involved. Sarah Fields, a reporter on X, is currently in the middle of a lawsuit or getting ready to have a lawsuit against individuals in Karmelo's camp, other social media influencers. I mean, the whole thing is boiling over. The whole thing is out of control. Is this the defense team just getting names to get these witnesses bothered by people on social media? No, not necessarily. I'm not buying that. But if initials and names get out, I 100% believe those individuals will be targeted. They will be bothered. Parents have a right to be concerned. The judge is going to have to take action in this situation to ensure the safety of those individuals who may be called to be a witness. And the defense team only needs to ask for names of individuals who have knowledge of the event and knowledge of the events leading up to the event. We cannot just mass subpoena anybody and everybody. This should be a fishing expedition. But there are some potential problems here. And I don't believe they're potential problems on behalf of the defense team. I don't believe this attorney is setting out to do things with nefarious intent, if that makes any sense. But the people surrounding this story are absolutely losing their minds. The people surrounding this story are absolutely doing anything and everything they can to make other individuals feel uncomfortable. The thing everybody needs to remember is Karmelo is accused at this point. He has the right to a fair trial. This trial has to be done the right way. He has constitutional rights, he has protections, and those protections need to be upheld. But the victims' families do deserve justice. We need to let this thing play out in court. Just make sure everything's on the up and up. We don't get justice through secrecy, but also we got to keep these people protected. Because the internet is absolutely bananas in this story. We'll see what happens, we'll see what follows, and if there's an update, I'll let you know. But if you enjoy this and a more fair, open conversation, maybe check one of these videos out. Y'all be safe now.